Hey, what's up, card fighters? Archangel 7 back, and I have another deck profile. This time it's going to be with the Kagero clan, and this is just a fun kind of budget type of deck that you can make. It has a couple of cards that are a little more expensive, but it's relatively inexpensive to make this deck. So right here we have our starter, Wyvern Kid Ragla, who is GB1. Counterblast 1, put it into the soul, choose one of your opponent's grade 1 or less rear guards, and retire it. So his is a pretty good skill. You can snipe the starter if you get to stride first. You can hit their starter, or just annoying grade 1 that's boosting, or that you just don't want on the field. So he's a good card. And what the deck is centered around is 4 Dragonic Blademasters, and he's actually a pretty good card, and he's extremely cheap to buy. You can get him on like TCG Player for probably about like 82 cents or something like that. But he has a Generation Break 2. During your turn, if the number of rear guards you have is more than your opponent's, he gets 5k and an extra crit. So that's pretty good pressure. I mean, he'll be swinging for 16 with a crit on him. So yeah, after GB2, he's good pressure. Then he has a stride break where you counterblast 1 during your turn when your G unit strides him. You may pay the cost if you do. Choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. That's any rear guard. So grade 0 through 3. Front row, back row, doesn't matter. He can retire anything on the field, which is awesome. And it makes the deck really fun. With this deck, your opponent can't have anything on the field. It's quite funny. I like just kind of trolling with it. But the next grade 3 is 2 double perish dragons. And he has a Generation Break 1, Counterblast 2, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. So just more field destruction. And then he has a on ride skill where you counterblast 1, soul blast 1 when he's placed on Vanguard, and you choose one of your opponent's grade 1 or less rear guards and retire it. So that's actually pretty good early on because it doesn't require stride or Generation Break. You just gotta ride into him, and he can snipe the starter or any other grade 1 or less. So then I run 1 Perdition Dragon Breakdown. I just got him in here pretty much just for the Legion, to be able to put the cards back, have a 20k attacker on the field. So that's pretty much what he's in for. But his Legion skill is Counterblast 3. Choose opponent's rear guard, then retire all opponent's rear guards in the same column as that unit. Then if the number of rear guards your opponent has is 2 or less, you can flip a damage face up. So best case scenario, he can essentially do that, snipe a column for Counterblast 2. And then his auto skill is when he attacks, if you have another unit in the middle column, he gets 3k. So he'd be 23 on his own when he attacks. So like I said, he's mostly in there just to Legion, but if you pull his effect off, it's not bad at all. It's pretty good. Then our last grade 3 is 1 Dragonic Overlord Rebirth. He's one of the more expensive cards in the deck. He's probably around, I don't know, $6 right now on TCG Players. So which is still not too bad. So still kind of budget. But I'll run just 1 of him because the deck, after you destroy their field, and you'll kind of end up becoming just like vanilla. And so just having him in there, he's a good win condition and a lot of pressure for your opponent. He can definitely win the game for you too. But his skill is Limit Break 4, which is kind of the only downside to it. But Limit Break 4, Counterblast 1, pretty much you're going to lock 5 of your rear guards. If you do that, he will restand after he attacks. He'll get 10,000, so he'll be 21 on his own, and he's gonna restand after he attacks. All you have to do is just discard 2 cards from your hand, and then he can't use the ability for the rest of that turn. So counterblast 1, lock 5 units, and he'll get a restand effect, which is good because he's 21. Like I said, you know, you put any triggers on him, he's gonna go up in power because he keeps the powers, keeps the crits and all that. So yeah, I run him. He's a good win condition for the deck. Next is 4 of the Generation Break 12k attackers. So not much to say about them. They hit 12k at the Vanguard. Other than that, they're just 9k. Next is Twilight Dragon. I run 4 of him, and that's just more of that retiring pressure, because he's Generation Break 1, Counterblast 1 when he attacks a Vanguard. If he's boosted, you can choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or less rear guards and retire it. So just, yeah, more field destruction. If you have Blademaster and you stride on him, you can retire one with his skill. You can retire one with his skill, and even retire one with his skill. That's all in one turn. So you pretty much snipe out 3 units. Just soon as you stride, you can snipe out 3 units on the field. So it's just funny when you do that. Like, the salt is kind of real sometimes. Like, man. But yeah. Next is 2 Berserk Dragons, and he's just a good ride early on. And yeah, not much to say about him. I mean, his skills for Vanguard or rear guard. So Counterblast 2, choose a grade 2 or less, retire it. Doesn't require any type of generation break, so whether it's early in the game or not, you can still use his effect, which is pretty good. And last is the Legion Mate for Breakdown Dragon there, and his skill, yeah, it's not really anything. Yeah, nothing we care about in this deck. He's there just to Legion and put cards back in the deck for me. But on the grade 1s, 4 perfect guards, 2 being the unflipper, and then 2 being regular. Next is some stride fodder. This guy is going to be your searcher for Dragonic Blademaster, which is our main unit there. And while he's in your hand, he counts as 3 towards stride. So just more stride fodder. And he's also 7k boost, so that's always awesome if you need to throw him on the rear guard to boost a unit. Next is 4 Calamity Tower Wyvern. He's another one of the little more expensive cards. He's kind of going up in price, but he's still not a lot. I mean, he might be like a little over $1 to get him, but he's Soul Blast 2, and when he's placed on the rear, Soul Blast 2 and draw a card, which is awesome because we don't use the soul at all in this deck. So just being able to do that in order to draw, you know, isn't a bad thing. Can't ask for much more. And the last grade 1 is Energy Flame Athonic. Yeah, and you can put him in the soul when your rear guard is when the opponent's rear guard is put in a drop zone due to effect from one of your cards. If you do, you can choose 2 cards from your damage zone, turn them face up, which is really good damage on flipper for the deck. Since we're doing so much retiring, you just have them on the field, shove them in the soul, and unflip 2 damage, which is good for the Calamity Tower Wyvern skill as well, because you're putting him in the soul. So essentially you're going to have a grade 1, a grade 2, your starter, and potentially him all in the soul. So you can use about 2 Calamity Towers from just that, and that's assuming that you haven't re-rolled or had another one, him in the soul too. So that is the units of the deck. Now we'll go on to the triggers, in which I run 8 crit, which I was going for the different arts, but I sold one of my decks, and yeah, I stuck with 3 just because he looks the best. But 8 crits, 2 stands. This stand is really good because we're retiring so much. Yeah, he has Generation Break 1. When opponent's rear guard is put in a drop zone due to effect for one of your cards, choose one of your other units. It gets 10k until end of turn, and then you shuffle this back in the deck. So, like I said, we're retiring a lot. So having him on the field, retire something, and giving a unit 10k, that's a lot. That's pretty good. And it says one of your other units, not rear guard, so you can give that 10 to the Vanguard as well. So that's sweet. Then I run 2 draw triggers. One being this Gatling Claw, counterblast one put in your soul. If you do choose an opponent's grade 0 rear guard and retire it, this is really good early on. It also adds to the soul. If I had another one, I'd play it, but I don't have another one right now. But he's a really good card to play. Like I said, early on, no generation break needed, just retire their starter. And last is obviously 4 heals, which I was able to pull off the 4 different arts for that one. So that is the deck profile. Like I said, it's just a fun deck, budget deck that you can play. It doesn't cost much to make at all. You can sub in a lot of different cards. I was running this guy in there, and he gets 5,000 whenever a rear guard is put in a drop zone with Generation Break 1. He gets that skill. But I just found I just would never have him on the field as I'm about to stride. Then if he's ever on the field, your opponent's probably just going to attack him anyway. But Kagero's one of the main clans. It gets tons of support. So there's a lot of units from older sets that you can put in there, and newer sets. And like I said, it's just really not expensive to make. But it's a really fun deck. On a competitive basis, I don't think it's that competitive, just because the deck can kind of get vanilla. Like I said earlier, you'll blow up the whole field and now you're just kind of trying to swing in, but it doesn't have a whole lot of pressure to the deck. But nonetheless, it's still a pretty fun deck to play with, and it can win you some matches though too. So that is the deck profile, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll be coming at you with another deck profile. I don't know what the next one's going to be on. I've been working on a couple different decks, but we'll see what we have coming out for you. But thanks for watching.